Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty World at War Custom Zombies and this week's episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions and I do best to go and answer them. There's a lot I want to discuss here today, so first things first, let's talk about the gameplay because this is freaking cool, right? I got flown into this map on a helicopter, got dropped inside, and the map itself is kind of like a futuristic remake of Kino der Toten from the original Black Ops. You guys remember that zombies map from Black Ops 1? It's basically that. Some people call this map Kino 2025, but I think the actual name of the map is called Kino the Rebirth, and if you guys are a fan of World at War Custom Zombies, you want to download the map and try it out for yourselves, there's going to be a link to it down there in the video description. So this is my first time ever playing on this map. It's a really cool one. It's really, really fun. I thought this map was awesome. I have a lot of gameplay of it, and I'll be using some of it here for this week's Dear Nero. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Again, it's like my first time playing on the map, but at the same time, it's also a remake. Like, it's like a wall-for-wall remake of Kino from Black Ops 1. So I already knew where things were, but things, of course, are going to be a little bit different. There's going to be some map-specific things that the people that put this map together have added in there. There are Advanced Warfare guns in here. There are Modern Warfare 3 guns in here. I think some Black Ops 2 guns as well. Like, it's just a really cool, interesting map, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the gameplay. I have gotten so many comments and messages today. Nero, what happened to Dear Nero? Nero, where is Dear Nero? I'm going to start a riot. Where is Dear Nero? Nero, did you forget? It's Wednesday, Nero. TikTok, where is it? And it's like, guys, I swear, I tried so hard. But yesterday, they, of course, announced YouTube Red, which I had made a video on that, and I was doing all the research for that and stuff yesterday. And then I ended up having to leave the house for a little bit, and when I ended up coming back, it was about like 8 o'clock Eastern, and at that point, it's like, well, it feels as though it's probably too late to start working on Dear Nero just now because it's a very long video. You guys know Dear Nero. It usually is about 30 minutes long. I, of course, listen back to it all the way through, and I have to edit in the questions and whatnot, and it's just a very time-consuming video, and after all that's done, I have to render it and upload it, and of course, that's a process on YouTube's end as well, and by the time it actually would have been in sub boxes and whatnot, it probably would have been 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern, which for people that live in, like, the UK, that would have been about 4 in the morning, and yeah, it just would have been very late, and it's probably going to be pretty late tonight, but I just didn't have time to do it yesterday, and I decided to do it here today, and of course, I did a number of videos already today, and on every single one of them so far, it's like, Nero, where's Dear Nero? You know, when I did the video talking about Black Ops 3, which is going to only be 30 frames per second on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, there were a bunch of comments like, where's Dear Nero? Did you forget? Then I did another video because they unveiled to us a new launch trailer for Black Ops 3. I did a video covering that, and the comments were like, where's Dear Nero? Did you forget about Dear Nero? Over on my Let's Play channel, a new episode of the Madden series went up. Where's Dear Nero? Did you forget Dear Nero? I started a new series on my Let's Play channel of the indie game Pro Gamer Manager, and even there it's like, where's Dear Nero? Did you forget Dear Nero? It's insane. It is insane how much you guys love this series, but I love it too. I love putting it together every single week, and without further ado, let's hop into the questions here, because we got some pretty good ones for this week's episode of Dear Nero. The very first one is going to come in from Green Jose in Texas. He's going to write, Dear Nero, what was your favorite and worst costume for Halloween? Keep up the great work. Have a spooky day. Of course, Green Jose from Texas. So, I am an old man now. In internet years, I suppose I'm an old man. I'm 23. I'm going to be 24 in November. And so it's been a while since I trick-or-treated, but I can remember a lot of my Halloween costumes. I can't remember all of them, but I can remember a lot of them, and I can definitely pick out 2 that were my favorite and 1 that was my least. So my favorite Halloween costumes growing up, one year I went as a vampire, which was like your most generic cookie cutter, like department store, cheap Halloween costume ever, but I loved it, and this is why. So when I went as a vampire one year, I got to get, you know, the fake vampire teeth that you can put in your mouth, and you can like have the fake vampire teeth with like the fangs. I got to paint my face like completely white. I got to paint my hands and stuff completely white. Like basically any skin that was going to be showing, I had like completely white. I believe I had like black makeup around my eyes as well to kind of like make them look like, you know, more vampire-y. I also got to have fake blood as part of that costume, which, if you guys never tasted fake blood, it tasted awful. Like, I don't know what was wrong with that fake blood. Was it old fake blood? Does fake blood even expire? Does it get old? I don't know. It was horrible tasting. I remember it tasting like cherry cough syrup in a way, and it was awful. But you put a little bit of fake blood in your mouth, then you kind of like slightly open your mouth and let it kind of like drool out of your mouth. That way it kind of rolls down the side of your cheek and whatnot, and then you kind of like let it dry on your face. That way you got like dried blood on your face. face and it looks like you were, drinking blood because you're a vampire. I like that aspect of it. I thought the costume was cool. I had a cape and everything. It was a cool costume, but I just that fake blood was terrible. That was probably my worst part of it, was the fake blood. But aside from that, it was probably one of my favorite costumes because it had so much going for it, and it was just like a cheap one that you get from like a department store, right? It had a cape. I think it had like a little ruby necklace thing that you had to wear, and it was a pretty cheap costume. But overall, it was one of the most fun ones because I got to dress up like completely with it, and I thought that was a really cool one. I must have been like 7 or 8 when I wore that. Another one that comes to mind, and I can't remember the exact year this was. Maybe it was like towards the end of my trick-or-treating career, maybe not, I'm not sure. It was around the time that the Star Wars movie came out that had Darth Maul in it. I got a Darth Maul costume. I don't even watch Star Wars or even know anything about Star Wars. I never even watched like the movie that had Darth Maul in it, but I went as Darth Maul for Halloween one year because that particular costume came with a dual-edged lightsaber that lit up and made noises, and it was freaking awesome. I remember the costume itself was like the cheapest costume too, because like the pants ended up ripping, like the pants they give you to put over your normal pants. I remember that ripped, so I was like Darth Maul walking around with like jeans, and I think it just came, like I didn't paint my face or anything like that, or I like glue horns to my head or anything, but I remember there was like a mask I could wear, and I think a hood, like I remember that there was like a hood you had to put up, that way it kind of like covered the fact that like you didn't have an entire Darth Maul head, it just had the mask, and then you had the hood up going over the back of your head. But the best part of the whole costume, obviously, was the freaking lightsaber I could run around with and hit my friends with, so that was a lot of fun. So those were two of my favorite costumes I remember growing up. My worst costume growing up, so towards the end of my trick-or-treating career, as I was entering that awkward teenage phase, I suppose, I think I was probably 11, maybe 12, but I'm leaning more towards 11. It's hard to remember the exact years. But I remember one year I went as a skateboarder, which was the most boring, unoriginal idea for a Halloween costume ever, because I literally wore like the clothes I would wear every day, but I carried around a skateboard with me. And when I would like knock on doors and stuff with my family, and everyone's like all dressed up and whatnot, they would ask what I'm supposed to be. I'm like, I'm a skateboarder. See, here's my skateboard. It's like I was just wearing like jeans and like a long sleeve shirt or something like that, because it's October, it's chillier, and so I don't understand why I thought that was a cool idea for a costume. That was by far my worst one, but I think that might have actually been the last year I went trick-or-treating, because I was getting a little bit old for that holiday anyways. But yeah, so those are my favorite and least favorite Halloween costumes. Thank you to Mr. Green Jose for submitting that question. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, in case you didn't already know, Halo 5 is coming out next Tuesday. Speaking for myself, I am very excited and will be playing it day one. My question is, will you be picking up Halo 5 and post gameplay of it before Black Ops 3? Jared from Massachusetts. So Jared, this is going to be another year of Halo for me. So the original Halo that I played was Halo Reach. That was the first time I ever even tried the Halo series. I had played it a little bit like back in the day, like when I'd go over to a friend's house. We actually used to do this a lot. I'd go over to a friend's house and we would try to beat like campaigns together. Like I remember we beat one of the Gears of War campaigns. Like it was like the kind of idea where if you die, you hand the controller off to your friend. We did the same thing for one of the older Halo games. I can't remember which one it was. I remember playing a bit of the Halo campaign with my cousin. I remember her playing like couch co-op, like split screen, like 4 players split screen multiplayer free-for-alls against all my friends at once, and we'd all be over at like my friend's house growing up and stuff. So I would do that stuff. But Halo Reach was like the first Halo that I actually bought for myself. I had on my own console. I actually tried out the multiplayer and I actually really tried to get into the series. Overall, I thought Halo Reach was pretty fun. I thought Forge World was amazing. It was like the coolest freaking thing ever. Like I still think Forge World and Halo Reach is like one of the just best parts of gaming. Like it's freaking amazing. But I like the campaign stuff. I liked the co-op aspect of the game. But the multiplayer itself, I found myself getting bored with it pretty quick. Like unlike Call of Duty, which I can play for days and days and days of playtime, after close to 24 hours, close to 1 day of playtime with the Halo Reach multiplayer, I got bored of the game, and I just didn't want to play it anymore. Like, the actual multiplayer itself, I didn't think was fun. I thought the Forge World aspect was really fun, but the actual multiplayer itself, like going online and playing like ranked matches and trying to level up and whatnot, I just wasn't for me. I didn't think it was that fun. Then Halo 4 came out, and kind of the same thing happened. There was another Forge. I think they just called it Forge in Halo 4. I could be wrong on that. It wasn't as good as Forge World. I remember that. It was a lot more limited than what Forge World was. I was disappointed by that. The multiplayer itself, and maybe this is telling of me as a Halo player, to some of you guys actually play Halo and know a lot more about it than I do, but I thought that the Halo 4 multiplayer was better than Halo Reach. Like, I enjoyed it more. But again, once I got to roughly a day of playtime, like around that 24-hour mark in the multiplayer, I got bored of the game again. Like, something about it, like, I didn't want to stay there and continue progressing. Like, I liked the character customization. I liked it when I would go play, like, a free-for-all or whatever, that you could, like, change the color of your Spartan to be whatever you want it to be. Like, I always went with, like, a green with, like, a 3-leaf clover, like an Irish kind of a look to it. I thought that was really cool, and every single person looks different. You change in and out your helmets and stuff. I thought the character customization was really cool, but, like, the actual aspect of the game, like the actual like mechanics and the shooting mechanics, how much health everybody has, the jumping and whatnot, and the grenades and how they work, and just something about the multiplayer itself I just couldn't really get into. I'm gonna be getting Halo 5. I'm gonna be trying it out. I will make another attempt at getting into the series, but I'm not convinced that it's going to be a game that's going to be like, whoa, I'm now a giant fan of Halo or anything like that. You know, I'm hoping. I haven't looked up really anything on Halo 5. I just know it's coming out soon. I haven't like paid attention to any of the pre-launch hype for it at all. But I'm hoping there's a Forge world again. I'm hoping there's gonna be a return of that, because that was like my favorite aspect of Halo. It's so much fun. You even playing solo, playing with friends. I love sandbox creating stuff. It is cool. And I think so. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, Forge is going to be part of that game. If not, I'm still going to try to get into the multiplayer. I'm going to try again. I'm going to play it. And I'm hoping that maybe I can last more than a day of playtime with it. We'll have to see. Will I make videos of it? I don't know. We'll have to see what I think of the game. Because I don't want to make a video saying, hey, here's Halo 5. I hate it and I suck at it. Like, I don't want it to be like that. So if I like the game and I'm having fun with it, I'll probably make videos of it. But if not, I probably won't make videos of it. Of course, we'll have to see. Next question. He is going to rate, Dear Nero, in your new vlog series, you mentioned that you tried playing CSGO, which is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, to those of you guys that aren't in the know. So I've only had the game for a few months, and I recently started to actively try to get better, but so far, I'm loving it. I was wondering what your thoughts on the game are, and if you have any plans to get better, and how you think it compares to Call of Duty in skill, fun, and etc. Zach from Massachusetts. So Zach, fun fact about this week's Dear Nero, the gameplay wasn't originally going to be custom zombies. Originally, it was going to be CSGO gameplay, and one of the reasons why Dear Nero didn't go up yesterday on Wednesday was because it took me a while to get the gameplay, because I played a bit of CSGO. The idea was, I'm new to CSGO, I have a little bit of an understanding as to how to play this game and how things work, and I'll use CSGO footage for this week's Dear Nero. I'm freaking awful at CSGO. I am so terrible at it that I thought all of the footage I recorded for maybe an hour was just completely useless, and I didn't want to use it anymore. I remember I tried playing the casual playlist, and it's like a search and destroy style game mode idea. Like, you know, the defending team defends bombs, the attacking team tries to blow up the bombs. I remember I was going to defuse a bomb, but the last guy was still alive, and I didn't know how long it would take to defuse the bomb. I couldn't find on the screen how long the bomb had before I could defuse. I was too afraid to defuse it, and then last second I tried to defuse it, and I ended up blowing myself up and dying. And everybody in chat was yelling at me, and then there was a big vote to kick, and they all kicked me from the game because they thought I was trolling, so it was so bad and didn't understand what was happening. The hip fire aspect of it, I'm very bad at aiming and shooting in that game. It's a game that definitely has a giant skill gap, but you ask how I think it compares to Call of Duty in terms of skill and fun and etc. as part of your question. And I would say that every game requires a different kind of skill. Call of Duty skill is different than CSGO skill. CSGO skill is much different than Halo skill. Halo skill is much different than Titanfall skill or Battlefront skill or Battlefield skill. I feel as though every game is a bit different. Just because they're all in the same genre of first-person shooter, I feel as though they're all different in their own way. And the way of CSGO, it's so much different than what I'm used to traditionally from first-person shooters that I have trouble getting into it. And I just look at CSGO, while there are aspects of the game that I think are really cool, I love all the skins that are in the game. I love how there's an entire economy based around those skins. I love the fact that when you pick up somebody's weapon, you can inspect it and how cool that is. That should be in Call of Duty. That's an awesome thing. But ultimately, it comes down to I just don't have the interest, the time, or the want to put into CSGO to become a way better player at it. Because right now, don't get me wrong, don't me try and kid you, I am terrible at CSGO, and I just don't have the interest or the incline to try to get better at it. You know, it's one of those games that you really got to put your time and your effort into actually becoming competent at the game. And I just don't have the interest to do that. If I wanted to put a lot more time into a first-person shooter, I'd put more time into Call of Duty to try and get better at that so I can make more better videos for you guys, you know? So I would much rather do that, especially with Black Ops 3 right around the corner, rather than trying to get into CSGO. So, what are my thoughts on the game? I think it's a good game. I think it's a great game. I'm just really bad at it, and I don't want to take the time to get good at it. But I think it does a lot of cool things right, and there's a lot of aspects of that game that I think are going to start trickling over into Call of Duty as well as other first-person shooters, because it is a very popular game, and there is a number of aspects to that game that people like. And one of them is a skill gap, and I think it's always good to have skill gaps in video games. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing that there's a giant skill gap in that game. I love skill gaps in video games. It's just I pick and choose what games I want to invest the time into to try and climb that skill ladder, and CSGO isn't going to be one of those games for me. I feel as though between all the different first-person shooters that are already currently out and are going to be coming out, plus all the other games I play, I just don't want to take the time to invest to become better at CSGO. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, would you like to see pro perks returned in a future Call of Duty title, and why or why not? I personally would like to see them return, as I see them as something else to strive for. Anyway, keep up the good work. Nick from Newfoundland. So Nick, I could go on for a very long time about pro perks in Call of Duty. In short, I think pro perks are pretty cool. I actually like the idea of pro perks, and here is why. Pro perks always gave you something else to strive for. Just like you mentioned in your question, they always gave you something else to go for. Some of my fondest memories, and this is just silly, I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Pro perks, like back in Modern Warfare 2. I remember Marathon Pro, right? Marathon Pro. It basically would give you unlimited sprint if you had Marathon. It was the first perk. It would give you unlimited sprint. You chose that perk. And if you ran 26 miles in-game, 26 miles, you would unlock Marathon Pro, which will allow you to mantle faster, so you could climb over walls and stuff like that a little bit faster. I always thought it was fun going for Marathon Pro. I thought Marathon Pro was a cool thing to go for. Like, we'd be playing Search and Destroy, right? And, like, let's say I'm playing with a group of my friends, you know, and there's 4 of us alive, and only one person on the other team, and we're planting the bomb. Like, we're obviously going to win the round. So instead of like trying to hunt down the person, I would just run around. I'd go running around trying to get my Marathon Pro, or I would hunt down the person. And at the same time, always knowing in the back of my head that I'm still working towards Marathon Pro. I thought that part of it was fun. You're playing a game of ground war domination and you're losing horribly. Well, at least you're still working towards some challenges for your pro perks. And if you guys don't know what pro perks are, maybe I'll explain that for some of you guys that are maybe a bit newer to this series. In some older Call of Duty games, let's see, Modern Warfare 2 had them, Black Ops 1 had them, Modern Warfare 3 had them. I think those are the only games. There were pro perks, right? So they would have your basic perk, picture flak jacket, right? There was a flak jacket perk, which would do what it always does and make it so you take less damage from explosives. And then you could do a bunch of challenges that were specific to flak jacket, like in Black Ops 1. I think the challenges were like survive X amount of explosions, defuse X amount of bombs, and stuff like that. And if you complete all those challenges, you will unlock Flak Jacket Pro, the pro version of that perk, which would not only make you take less damage from explosives, but it would also give you another benefit. In the case of Flak Jacket Pro, it would basically make you immune to fire damage, which was kind of nice because in Black Ops 1, there was napalm strikes as a kill streak, as well as flamethrowers, and it was just kind of a nice little thing, nice little bonus. I'm trying to think of some of the other pro perks. So Sleight of Hand Pro in Black Ops 1 would, of course, make you reload faster with a normal Sleight of Hand, but once you did the challenges and got Sleight of Hand Pro unlocked, it would also allow you to aim down sights faster. It was kind of like Quick Draw, so it's basically 2 perks built into one. It was like that for Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, as well as Modern Warfare 3, and overall, I thought it was pretty fun, but I just don't know how it would work under today's Call of Duty system. Like, you look at the Pick 10 system, or you look at the Pick 13 system, how would pro perks work within that? Because if you have the ability to pick 6 perks on your class at once, and all those perks could be potentially pro perks, that's like having 12 perks at once. Like, that would just be insane. Like, overall, I'll admit, I like the idea of pro perks because I like the challenges. Like, you always have this challenge going on in the background. So not only are you playing and trying to level up and trying to prestige, but you're also unlocking challenges for your guns. You're also trying to unlock new attachments. You're trying to unlock new camos. You're trying to win the game. You're trying to unlock pro perks. Like, you're always working towards stuff all at once, and you always feel like you're accomplishing something, which is one of the reasons why I think pro perks were cool. On the other side of that, I'm not sure how well pro perks would work within the context of a Pick 10 or a Pick 13 system. I don't know how that would work. Overall, I would like pro perks to return because I liked the aspect of going for extra challenges. I thought they were pretty cool. And without pro perks, you'll notice in Call of Duty Ghosts, especially Call of Duty Ghosts, because that game had a ridiculous amount of perks, that instead of having pro perks, they basically just have a ridiculous number of individual perks that all are kind of useless on their own. Like, there was a lot of perks in Call of Duty Ghosts that were just silly, that you would just never use, because like, what would be the point of that? Like, they would basically take a pro perk and break it up into the two benefits that it would have and make two different perks as a result of that. So you'd have double the perks, and as a result, you never felt like you had everything that you would want to have in Call of Duty Ghost, at least. So I don't know. I think pro perks would be cool. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. But I can't really see them returning in the near future anyway, unless they figure out a way to balance it with the pick 10, or in Black Ops 3's case, a pick 13 system. Next question. He is going to write, Dear Nero, what would be your opinions if Treyarch were to add the option to switch your HUD so that everything is on your right-hand side of the screen would be on the left-hand side of the screen, and everything on the left-hand side of the screen would be on the right-hand side of the screen? This includes your weapon, but not your kill feed, because that would ruin it like how Ghosts did. Stay beautiful, Japg from Vancouver. So that's an interesting idea. Essentially, what he's trying to say there is how cool would it be if we could customize our UI? How cool would it be if we could customize our HUD? The idea of left-handed players in Call of Duty has been an idea for a number of years now. Now, I don't know of any games that do that. Do you guys have examples of that? Because I feel as though I'm in the know for a lot of games out there, even if I don't play them. And I can't picture any game that's a first-person shooter that gives you the option to kind of simultaneously change your character between being a left-handed character and a right-handed character. I just don't know of any games that would do that, and I'm not sure why they don't do that. I'm sure there's a reason, but I just can't think of any reasons why. I think it would be cool if we could change around the HUD in Call of Duty. I think it's going to happen in the future. I totally think that it's going to be something that we see in the future. I think that HUD customization or UI customization, your user interface, I believe you're going to be able to change that in the future. I just think it's something that's going to happen. I think in future Call of Duty games, you're going to have the ability to take the minimap, make it bigger, make it smaller, move it left, move it right, move it wherever you want, put the kill feed wherever you want, put your XP bar wherever you want, toggle your XP bar on and off, toggle your minimap on and off, and stuff like that. I think you'll be able to have the ability to do that in the future. I don't like games that change around the minimap. Like, I'm so used to the minimap being in the top left from Call of Duty that when I play a game where the minimap is like in the top right or the bottom right or stuff like that, it's like, I'm so not used to looking in that part of the screen, and like, it's just so off-putting. So I think it would be cool if people prefer the minimap to be in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Well, then they should have the option to move it over there. And I think that's something that's going to happen in Call of Duty in the future. I'm not sure when. Obviously, it's not happening in Black Ops 3. Maybe with the next Infinity Ward game, maybe with the next Sledgehammer game. I do feel as though that's going to be something that happens in the future. It's just only a matter of time. Next question. He is going to write, Dear Nero, I've always wanted to ask you, what is your main job besides YouTube? Thanks, Amused TV. So Mr. or Mrs. Amused TV, YouTube is my job. It's been my job for a number of years now. YouTube is... it's definitely a career. It's a business for a lot of people. This is our primary source of income. Most people that you watch on YouTube that are of a decent size, they primarily do YouTube as their job. Some people have another job on the side. Now, some people, they still go to school on the side. But then there's people like me that spend the entirety of their day making videos. Between NerosCinema and Nero's Let's Plays, my day is packed. It really is. I am just, like you see Dear Nero here, it's going up late because I made 4 other videos today. Like, YouTube is my full-time gig, and it has been for about 3 years now. It's been for about 3 years. What jobs did I do before YouTube? Well, my first job ever, I was a customer service representative for AT&T. So basically, people would call and complain about their bills to me. That was short-lived because I didn't like that job at all. Then I ended up going to Walmart, and I ended up working as, the technical term was a second shift inventory associate. So essentially, I worked second shift, which was like 3 to midnight, 3 to 1, something like that. And I would unload trucks, and when there was no trucks to unload, I would like stock shelves, or I would do inventory in the back, or I would like stock the freezer and stuff like that. And I did that for about half a year or so. And then when my YouTube channel really started to grow, because I was always doing like YouTube on the side, I started making enough money from YouTube that I could quit that job and work towards YouTube full time. And I have been doing that for about 3 years now. And hopefully I can do it for many, many years in the future, because I really enjoy YouTube. I enjoy my time here. I enjoy playing lots of video games. I enjoy making content. You know, I enjoy making videos and interacting with fans, and it's seriously the best job ever. You'll hear every YouTuber say it's the best job they've ever had and how it's been their dream job, and it really is. YouTube is freaking fantastic, and I would like to thank all of you personally for allowing me to have my dream job. You guys are awesome. Next day and final question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, since there is going to be paint shop in Black Ops 3, do you think that DLC camos will be as popular as in previous Call of Duty games? Logan from Iowa. So Logan, that is a very good question. I do feel as though DLC camos are going to be a part of Black Ops 3. So my theory behind camos, right? Because I've gotten questions before, people asking, Nero, do you think like camos that you earn for your gun, are those even going to be relevant? Because we're going to be able to make our own stuff with the paint shop mode. I do feel as though they're going to be relevant. In short, I think camos are going to be relevant because they're going to be basically the basis for your paint shop camo. An example I gave was, if I want to make like a winter themed camo, I'm going to need some sort of white base camo to make that work, because as you saw from the paint shop, you can't paint the entirety of your gun. You can paint the left side, the top, and the right side, and sometimes you can only paint a small part of your gun and only customize a small part of your weapon. The rest of the weapon is going to be affected by the actual camos in game. So if I want to have like a snowy, like a winter forest camo, which is the first thing that pops in my head when I think of camos I want to put together, I'm going to need like a base white camo, hopefully, to make the rest of my gun white, and then on the part that I can actually customize, maybe put some snowflakes on there, maybe try and design a tree on there, then put snow on top of it, or do things of that nature, right? Try and make an Arctic style camo, and I'm going to need a base white camo as a result of that. What I think they're going to do with DLC camos in the future is, like some of the DLC camos that we've seen in previous Call of Duty games, I think they're going to be very bright, very flashy. They're going to do some really cool, interesting things. I think a lot of them are going to be animated camos, and I think people are going to pay $1.99 or $1, whatever it's going to be to able to have access to that stuff, because if the thing is animated, if these camos are animated or they have special features to them and they look really cool and look very unique, people are going to want that stuff because they can use that stuff as a basis to customize it even further with paint shop mode and make the coolest looking camos possible, right? So I do feel as though that there is going to be DLC camos in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, but again, this is all just my perception of paint shop mode as we saw it during the beta. Now, we don't exactly know how the camos are going to work in Black Ops 3, but if I had to make a guess, I feel as though they're going to work the way they always have, but having a different kind of a camo will basically give you a different base, like a different canvas for you to mess around with in paint shop mode. You know, if there's a red tiger camo built into the game, you can put that on your gun, and then from there put your designs over top of that red tiger camo and make it your own personalized kind of red tiger. Yeah, I think that's going to be kind of like the idea they have behind that. So I totally think there's going to be DLC camos in Call of Duty. Will they be as popular? I don't know. I don't have access to that information. I don't have access to, what DLC camos sold well, how much they earned from DLC camos in Black Ops 2 as compared to Call of Duty Ghosts or compared to Advanced Warfare or anything like that. So I don't know. Will it be as popular? I can't say, but I totally think they're going to be in the game. I totally think they're going to be reasonably popular, and that you're going to see them pretty frequently when they actually release in-game. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and if you did, remember to leave a rating where you guys feel it deserves, and if you guys would like to submit your questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, simply send me a personal message here on YouTube. It's a very simple process, guys. Go to my YouTube channel. You'll find there's a number of tabs like home, videos, playlists, etc. You'll find an About tab, and then go to the About tab. From there, you'll find a Send Message button. If you're on mobile, like if you're on a mobile device like a phone, or if you're on a tablet, all you need to do is request to view my YouTube page in your browser, and then it'll give you like the actual computer version, I suppose, of YouTube. And then from there, you'll see a Send Message button, right? So it's very simple, very simple. If you guys would like to submit your questions, just send them in, and I'll go through them all. I read all of your questions every single week, and I reply to some of them right here on YouTube. But the ones I think they're very good, or that I think will fit the format of the show, I of course feature them on that week's episode of Dear Nero. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.